Uh, Hello all. Good afternoon. As you're already saying, happy MISC Consolidated Outland Mirai Day. Apologies that I'm running slightly late. Literally, this has been running back from work, throwing on a t-shirt. I'm still in my work trousers and stuff. So yes, it's been a bit of a rush, but we are here. And then, unfortunately, I thought I'd set the stream up from my phone, and then it was a mobile only live stream. So I don't know what's happening. Whatever. Pro streamer, right? Good afternoon to Socially, to Space Saga, to Star Stuff, Jock Cop, and everyone else that's in chat. We are now waiting for the page to update so that we can go to MISC, Mirai, and Consolidated Outland. We know that they're hoping to bring some sort of medium Consolidated Outland ship to the game at some point. Don't know what that is. There's the Guardian that may well be coming. It makes a lot of sense for it to be coming at Invictus. And I guess we'll see, right? Obviously, the TAC is around as well. Can't remember that just because we've seen it for a little while now. It's still, obviously, its official launch in this patch. If the music's a little loud, just let me know. Hello, Sim. Hello, Matthew. Good to see everybody. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm frantically going to sit here and smack F5 and see what happens. I know I've said this every single time this week, and I'm going to say it again for giggles, but this will likely be a shorter stream. We have covered an awful lot over the last few days, so yeah, we'll see. Yes, you're quite right. Socially, if the Guardian is not there, that would be quite funny. Sorry, I'm catching up. I'm going from Coast Guard mode to streamer mode, and my brain is not having any of it. Basically, my brain's just like, what do you think you're up to? So yeah. I love that Socially gets, every time I type your channel's name into YouTube, I get a warning about alcoholism and a helpline telephone number. Well, I'm pleased. Stop it. Get some help. But no, I'm pleased. Replaces the Guardian with the Raptor. Well, yes, quite. Gib refuse removal truck. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. There's obviously some potential interesting options in terms of the war bond, but sorry, the Warbond CCU. But as CCU's going so far, it's been a little bit underwhelming. They changed the price on one of the days, upped it by another $5 or $10 to reduce the discount that people got. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we get. But I'm not holding my breath. There are obviously within the MISC line a couple of ships, the Starfarer Gemini being one of them, that form the backbone of a lot of these CCU chains. So we'll see. Maybe there'll be something in there. I don't even drink, says Socially. Yeah, absolutely. When serving, one of the phrases that we use, because of course you don't get drunk in the Navy, certainly not on board. One of the phrases we used to use were socially lubricated. You're not drunk, you're socially lubricated. Hey, Skubak, good to see you. Welcome in. New name, so good to see you. I'd honestly rather get the Raptor, no joke. Guardian just doesn't do it for me. Yeah, try not to fight too hard in chat over that one. I think a couple of people might disagree with you. But let's have a look and see what we've got when it appears. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The rumours being, of course, that there is a Consolidated Outland medium ship at some point. I know they haven't done, you know, we haven't had anything more on it, is what I'm trying to say. There may well be a concept around that, I guess, depending on how hard they're pushing for money and how, I guess, aggressively they felt their backlash from people who are upset with the whole Flight Blades thing. That being said, hey Jack, good to see you. That being said, that you know, the funding tracker certainly doesn't seem to say that. If we go and have a look at that in just a second. Okay, so that's that stuff. We have a very quick look at the funding tracker while we're here. Ooh. There we go. doesn't seem to have taken much of a hit at all. So 9 mil, 9.5 mil taken in 1 week. You know, dropped to a lowly 1.2 mil in, you know, on Sunday. So we'll see where they are today. But I really don't think that they're struggling that hard for it. So we'll see. I'm going to keep spanning, I guess. Maybe. Hey, Rusty Pigeon, good to see you. Yeah. Shame the Guardian X has no log-out bed, though. Yes, very possibly. But yeah, again, sorry, very possibly. Yeah, it is a bit of a shame, but we'll see what the trade-off is what I was trying to get there. My brain's going to catch up in a moment, maybe. No promises. Like, literally none. I can't guarantee a bloody thing at the minute. But, we'll see. Anything? No. We'll just do the F5 wars. We are slightly a moment over. I'm also sad about the lack of amenities in the MX. I may up getting a base Guardian instead for my off-the-grid RPDs. Yeah, it's an interesting choice to not have that because, of course, one of the factors of the heavy fighters is a little bit of range. You know, the ability for people to stay on board. But then again, I suppose we've seen that with the Scorpius, with the Hurricane. You know, there's a lot of heavy fighters who don't have that sort of extra range. Certainly two-seater ones. So we'll see. Hey, Manny, I'm unsure about the MX since it loses its living quarters. It no longer competes against the Vanguard. Yeah, absolutely. We're just talking about that there is that, you know, the number of heavy fighters with that sort of long-range capability are, you know, few and far between. So we'll see what comes. Nope, still on the Argo stuff. Very last chance to grab whatever it is you're going to grab, but yeah. If you're going to try and grab that war bond, but I'd imagine it's going to change over very, very quickly. Don't know. Maybe we go back to this and see what happens. Yeah, still nothing. They overpowered the MX, so no habitation is its drawback. Yeah, and you know it'll get nerfed again as well, but we'll see what it comes out with. I'm kind of main reason I'm hyped for the MX is not even the loadout style stuff; it's the blast shield. Around the cockpit. Nice. Here we go. Okay, let's have a look. So, on to the Mirai first. What have we got here? A Mirai Guardian MX Strike Last. Interesting. Stripped of anything that doesn't serve its lethal agenda, the Guardian MX is dedicated to getting the job done with clean, devastating precision. Keeping the cutting-edge chassis of its predecessor, this variant's enhanced weaponry and shields have refined destruction to a powerful art. Alright, I'm interested. I'm sold. Let's have a look. Quad. Size 4 weapons. The Guardian MX is one of the fiercest fighters that can be operated by a single pilot, putting the perfect tool for valor, virtue, and vengeance in your hands. Yeah, we can put it up if you like. Are you sure you want it up? You sure you just don't want me to read it to you? You sure? You sure? Hey, Feathers. Hey, Luna Maria. Good to see you both. Let's take a look. So here we are. Guardian MX is up. Resilient, under threat. Bolstered by additional armor and double the shields of its predecessor, Mirai's newest variant, can withstand the barrage while you get into position for the final blow. Explosive. Impressive missile loadout, blah, blah, blah. Great. We've got some wonderful shots of it. Perfect. Lots of missiles. Kind of cool delivery system, it looks like. Paint. So, 25 meters in length, 4 size 4 weapons, 2 bespoke racks, 12 size 2. Let's see where we are. Okay, so we are looking at, I suppose, really, I should put this into, I think I'm going to have to go back to the main page, aren't I? Into, for this. And then we'll go back to that page. There we go. So Mirai again, go back to this. Let's see what it is in dollars. But yeah, good to see you, Lady Mirai. How you been? Feathers, good to see you. So $324 for the war bond, $348 with taxes. So you're looking at whatever that is, just under 300. So yeah, so you're looking about what, 280, somewhere around there. Great. 290, 270. Yeah, sounds about right. And then you've got Guardian Trio packs if you want them. So there's that. Not a huge amount. What paints have we got available? So we got the factory standard, Blackout, Peninsula, nice, Burnout, bit more racy, and Harlequin. Yeah, so I get that one. I get that one. I like that one. Not too sure about the last two, because, you know, chain's nice with the QA, says Matthew. Nice. Alex Moore, hello. There's a BTS video for it as well, 4 minutes long. We can go and have a look at that if we like. Does anyone want to look at that one? Should we go and have a look? Why not? Let's drop the music down here, and let's go and have a look at exactly what is going on. Let's have a look. This is where you get to see all my god-awful tabs and stuff. That'll be fun. Here we go. BTS. I'll up the volume for you, don't worry.
The Guardian MX is the big brother of the Guardian.
Pew pew.
It is fully geared up to fight and is now equipped with 4 size 4 weapon instead of the 2 size 5.
I like the loadout. The weapon positioning is...
Mirai's manufacturer's always trying to push performance. In this case, this version of the Guardian is much more aligned with that key core role of a heavy fighter.
It's got like bigger wings, it's got missiles, it's got more power, not more armor. It's just like meaner looking.
I do, Artek, I do.
It's for people who just wants to kill, pretty much.
Once you see the MX, you'll notice that the guns are now tucked in the wings. It sits while landed more angular. The wings are much more bigger than the base Guardian. The material breakup is also different. The paneling is like bigger, it's more industrial looking.
It is.
Because it's more heavily armored. So there's 24 new missiles, 12 on each wings. And just the experience of launching those missiles at an angle, pretty cool. So the cockpit view is one of the things we've worked the most on the MX.
The look of the dashboard is also completely different and looks sleeker to tie it better with the new HUD design. The UX team did a
nice. I like that
job.
That's very cool.
We recognize that like the dashboard being at the top of the canopy was blocking that valuable space that the player need and want while dogfighting. So we decided to move the dashboard down to each side of the seat, freeing up the top. It gives that feeling of like operating this massive gun turret with all 4 guns sitting at the tip of the wings.
Jesus.
So the MX has a new blast shield, which looks like really cool. It got camera and screens on the inside, so the player can see the outside even when it's closed.
It's going to give you a little bit more protectability, make it feel a little bit nicer when you're in that exposed glass cockpit. Compared to the base Guardian, which has more luxuries, has more creature comforts, this one kind of forgoes that.
We completely removed the habitat to make room for a bunch more components. So it now includes 1 size 2 power plant instead of the 2 size 1, and 1 additional size 2 shield generator.
Like the other Mirai ships, how it feels when you pilot it is really quite unique. I'm not that concerned about having a bed and having all the creature comforts and all those things on my ship, especially a ship like this. So the fact that we sacrifice those elements to then reinforce the core capabilities of the vehicle, that's what I find the most exciting with it.
So even though it is a variant of the Guardian, so much has changed on it that it feels like a completely new ship.
I think people will love it. I think it's gonna compete with the best heavy armor there is.
Paired with the speed and agility, the ship feels like a menace. If the MX is
That is
telling
very
you,
cool.
then you're probably already dead.
Very nice. Interesting. Kind of cool. So, did someone say there's another video as well to go with it? The Mirai Guardian and the TAC. Let's have a look. Apparently, look out for combat, Atlas. I really hope it's not the... Uh-oh.
Fury 6 to TAC 1, we've softened your approach.
Copy that, Fury 6. Inbound.
Get wrecked. Nothing like a bit of close air support. Surprise!
Bring in the rain. Bandits approaching.
Engaging. Target locked. Fox 3.
They are getting a whole lot better with the sound and the war cries.
Down, get those troops on board.
Boys! Boys! What's that? What's this in the background? What's that? Is anyone seeing this right next to me here? Between me and the dude's leg?
Last man aboard.
Yeah, it
Trap
is.
secure.
TAC 1 dusting off. Fury 6 aboard. Copy that. Welcome back, pilot.
Down to LZ.
That.
Wheels down, get those troops on board.
Everyone see that?
Wheels down, get...
In that. That's a lot of combat mechs. That's a lot of combat mechs. Holy moly. So yeah. Go figure. That's hey Pure Voice, welcome in, and Casino, welcome in. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? So that's cool. I love the old Fox 3 thing because that's a much better war cry than what we've had before. Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, so I guess let's go back to the page we were looking at. Yeah, so Guardian MX, solid looking fighter, lot of missiles, a lot of missiles. Are going to be the bane of smaller stuff, I guess, as long as it can keep them in front of it. Yeah, significant looking fighter, but not a small price at that amount. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Okay, let's have a look at the rest of it. So, we've got that. What do we have? Do we have a war bond offer in the Mirai? No, we don't. So it's not in the Mirai range. Let's have a look at MISC. So, Upgrade for the Freelancer miss. Okay. Alright. What price does it come out at? So it's a $10 off War Bond. Okay. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. And then anything from Consolidated, of course not. The poor cousin of everything else. Bless them. I guess it's likely because their mediumship may not be combat-based at all. So yeah, there's that. Let's go back to the Starlancer. Let's see where we are. I mean, we know a lot of these details, right? So we know that sort of stuff. We've got the video there. So we can go back and we can have a little bit more of a look at the mechs in just a second. The TAC is all the way to the bottom. Let's go to the important bit first. Oh, I keep hitting the scroll wheel. I'm on a budget mouse. So whatever that is. Let's have a look. So 2 options. There is a War Bond for 340. The standard at 375. So there's that. So yeah. That's how I flick through. Let's have a look at the paints we've got. So your factory standard is the dark one. You got the Tellius, Bonfire. That's something new and unusual. The Atlantic and the Mojave. Nice. So yeah, not a bad looking ship at all, I would say. Q&A for the MX has dropped as well. Okay, we'll go and have a look at that in a little bit. But yeah, some not bad photos. Do we have anything with the Titans in here? Because of course that's going to be the next bit that everyone wants to know. No, and of course, you know, we've had the opportunity to run around it now in the hall and stuff. It's there, but gotta say, as a combat dropship goes, this looks to be the all-round package amongst all of the dropships. 100%. Medbed, you know, the Bay putting in apparently like 8 of these Atlas things. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. Artek, no issue, my friend. That's exactly why I'm here. Hey, Stat, good to see you. Jock Cup, if I haven't said hello, apologise. But yep, that's that. Doesn't the MX just crap on the Scorpius? I mean, potentially not. I don't know. We'll have to see them together, of course. You know, I'll reserve judgment until after the MX gets hit in the face with the Nerf bat, and we'll see how they are then. But yes, interesting choices between the two. I've got to say, although I like the Scorpius, the Guardians series, especially the MX looking that chunky, the MX edges ahead in terms of pure aesthetics for me. Based on nothing else but how it looks, I would prefer the MX to the Scorpius. Certainly. TAC was $330 US, standard price at concept, so it's gone up $45. Yeah, looks like that. I finally have something positive to say about the Guardian MX. The Warbond CC Fury, so repair 20 on my Paladin chain. Nice. Good. I'm pleased. It does look badass. You're right, Feathers. Disappointed about the Atlas, whatever they are, these things. Yeah, well, hey, we'll go and have a look. I don't think these links ever work for me, because I get this, and then I accept it, and then it doesn't want to play. For whatever reason. So what I'll do is I'll go and have a look at that again. You're going to hear the audio before you see it. Because I'm doing it on the other screen. And you'll get the audio in a second. There you go. They've got so much better with these. They have got so much better with them. What an idiot. The guy giving it the finger and then the... That's how you know you're dealing with amateurs. That's really cool. That's game footage. That's awesome. I got a question. I saw this the first time round. Okay. So as we go in, up here there's something firing, and I can't tell what it is. There? Is that a C-RAM? Or is that just someone stood there and it's not rendering well? Because that kind of looks like a C-RAM to me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shite. But yeah. So that's very cool. Like that. Or dead.
Bandits approaching.
Engaging. Target locked.
That's cool.
Fox 3.
Nice.
Inbound to LZ.
Wheels down. Get the...
I don't think they do look any more polished. I think if you watch this guy as he gets in, right? Let's slow it down slightly, shall we? Should we slow it down a bit? So, playback speed, let's go to that. Okay, so watch this guy stand up. It looks precisely like it does at Wickelow's, I think. Oh, ouch, that was rough. As it stands up there. Looks like a backpack was added. This thing up here, very possibly. Yes, it does. So looking at them in the background there, you're entirely right. But they just... I mean, yeah. Proper power ammo or both, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to go really overpowered, it could have a small shield gen in there as well. I don't know. But it doesn't look like it. I'm not seeing anything like striking shields over here or anything like that. Do you see what I mean? They are jumping out though, aren't they? They're from the back of the ship. So yeah, so that's interesting. Did we see anything else of those as we came in? Give one arm a physical shield. That would be really cool. Buy Meg Blades in store, says Pure Voice. Oh, too soon, man. Too soon. Hey, Artemis. Good to see you, my friend. Are the Guardian MX paints available for Invictus or Invictus Times exclusives? One of them, we'll have a look in a second. One of them will be a concierge paint, but I don't know which one that is. So yeah, there is definitely a backpack. But, I mean, looking at all this stuff, it doesn't look much different at all to the one in Wickelow's, which is a real shame because they could do so much better with it. It feels a little bit like a money grab. You know, it is. It's something's been that's been very heavily adjusted for other. From something else other than designed as a bespoke fighting piece of kit, so that's a bit of a shame. You know, I mean, you just look at some of these Titan suits, and the concepts made them look really cool, and it's not immediately clear why they've stepped away from it. Dr. Pepex, hello, buddy, good to see you. Yeah, texture certainly looks different. I think there's probably a different paint on there. In terms of the Guardian MX, then, in terms of the paints, let's have a look. So there's a Harlequin paint, which is which one? Harlequin is the green anime. Yeah, one, whatever the. I can't do waifu noises, but whatever it is, uwu, like anime skin, great, whatever. So that looks to be the concierge paint at the moment. Let's have a look. Paints. So those are there's a sovereign paint as well. Interesting, which we didn't see in that one. You're gonna let me have a closer look at that? No, can I not? I guess just screw myself then. Yeah, it's not letting me do what I want, is it? So that's the Sovereign paint. So there's that one. Where are we? Paints. So that is Concierge. So this 5-pack, whatever's in there, is not Concierge. So everything you see. That looks to be an Invictus one, doesn't it? There's a lot of paints for this thing. So Desert Dust, Burnout, Blackout, Peninsula, and I guess that one is the ILW skin. Desert Dusk, Red Skies. So no, it's not. So Desert Dust, Red Skies, Burnout paint, Blackout paint, Peninsula paint. There's your 5-pack. Sovereign and Harlequin then complete the trio. So that's kind of cool. So does that mean then that our TAC has some other paints that I didn't look at? Lots of jumping back and forwards here, guys, but thank you for bearing with me. Whee! I wish I knew what was going on sometimes. Red Skies looks very good, you're right. Jay Grays, hello, buddy. Do we think we might still get Titan suits? Yes. Because I will riot if we don't. Those things are awful looking, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably won't even partake of one. Sovereign is the old one. Thanks for clearing that up, Charlie. Good point. So yeah, doubt any Titan suits till Squadron 42, but the Ghetto one at Wicklow is supposed to come after ILW with 4.2. Yeah, they kind of, I think, what's his face, Jared kind of hinted that at the video yesterday, didn't he? So, what we have here, there are 7 paints. There's more than we've seen. So, we've got Pacific and Mojave, both showing as Concierge. We then have the Bonfire paint, the Tellus paint, Atlantic, Snowcap, and Wildcat. So, yeah. These paint packs are getting a little bit pricey, aren't they? Holy moly. It's digital. No one's actually painting anything. What are you doing? So yeah. There's that. What do we think? Atlas Max will be a fun toy until the real ones come. Yeah, possibly. I think, you know, I guess it kind of depends. I'm hoping that what that backpack doesn't do is that it doesn't include a jetpack. Or if it does, it's basically, you know, it's enough for it to land, do the hot drop thing, and nothing more. Because the whole point of these things, I would suggest from a balance point of view, is they should be more tanky, people should be more maneuverable. So if you're going to bring it, you don't want to just put everyone into a Titan suit and just, like, completely invalidate doing things in normal armor. You know, you want them to be very good up front, which they look like they are, high armor up around the neck, you know, and then get to the sides, they're pretty open. And that's what you want, you know, if you want to get these things, you outflank them and that sort of stuff. Or you just hit them in the face with a railgun, like either or. But yes, we'll see. I used the Homer Simpson paint on my TAC. That's really unfortunate, socially. Now I've seen that, I can't unsee it, and it's all your fault. They raised the price on the See It On Nightbreak paint that's been out for years. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Why raise the price on paints? Why would you raise the price on paints? It's ugh. But yeah. So yeah, some interesting bits and pieces here. I must admit that watching that as someone, I think someone said it, right? They said it's nice to see. Ugh. Excuse me, sorry guys. It's my first day back after a week off, so I'm struggling to kind of center myself. But yeah, someone said it was really nice to see. That was our tech, you know, having the TAC come in, do a circle, engage contacts on the ground, clear the zone, you know, then put the troops in, you know, evacuate the wounded, that sort of stuff. That's exactly the sort of thing the TAC would be used for. You'll have to see how it works with, you know, where the Valkyrie and stuff fit into this, because as someone pointed out, it does more than the Valkyrie and it's cheaper, which is problematic. But yeah, Thanks, Margaret. I saw that before it went, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Just make more paints. Yeah, exactly that. If you want more money, if you want more revenue from paints, make more paints. Don't just inflate the ones that we already have. That's not, especially in the light of all that's gone on so far. This ILW, just play it safe. Don't in the nicest possible way. Sorry, YouTube. Don't fuck about. Just play. Now is the same price as the Valk. Yeah. Still, not loving it. Not loving it. They're making a serious run for Squadron 42 releases, Charlie, and are driving hard for advertising funds as well. It will explain why so much is coming in game as well. SC has to be soon after Squadron 42. So I agree with part of that, and then some of that, not so much, and I'll go into why in a second. T-Jack, hello. We need dropship missions, and the Valk will reign supreme at that position. 20 seats versus 8. Yeah, and I think, a much wider array of vehicles, potentially. So, in terms of the TAC versus the Valk, when it comes to things like the giant sandworm, if you bring one vehicle in the TAC and it gets smacked, that's it. You're not bringing anything else up, whereas obviously the Valkyrie will be able to do that. And that works not just for the worm, it's anything where you've got multiple vehicles. The loss of one is a much smaller impact on the whole force than it would be for something like the the TAC. You're absolutely right. The Valk should have heavy armor, but armor isn't in yet. So yeah, absolutely. I'd imagine the Valk will have higher armor tier, says Matthew. Absolutely. Valk is more like an old UH-1 Huey, flying them in a chain of 3 to 4 with 2 gunships leading to clear. TAC is more capable of clearing the LZ, especially if you have 2 of them. Yeah. Just bought the blackout paint for the Guardian MX. Says Artemis. Looks badass. Just pray it can fit in an Idris now. Well, yeah, let us know how you get on with that. Because I won't be finding that out now. I'm going to get fully changed after we do this. I'm going to go to the shops because I need to get some shopping in. But yes, yeah. So Charlie, I agree with part of what you're saying there. Part I don't. So yes, they're making a serious run for Squadron 42. Absolutely. Are they driving hard for advertising funds? More than likely, they're going to want some dough in their back pocket for that. Interestingly, that was part of their deal when they sold 10% of the company for 46 million to the individual. I believe that was earmarked for marketing. How much of that has gone into YouTube and that so far, we're not sure. But that, of course, I don't think that's not been included in the roadmap funding that we've seen. I don't think. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's been included in that because that fund was specifically, I believe, contractually for marketing. So we'll have to see. SC being soon after Squadron 42, I very much doubt. I think the drive for SC at the moment is, obviously, with Squadron 42, you're going to see an influx of players who have not yet been in the verse. They're driving hard for Star Citizen at the moment to be stable, so that those that finish Squadron 42 and come over at least have a semi-reasonable experience and don't have it as we are experiencing it right now. Especially seeing as Grand Theft Auto is coming in May next year, the likelihood is that they're going to push it to the back to the end of the year, right? Give people to get Grand Theft Auto out their system. Anyone who's got the money to either buy the game or buy something on PC, yeah, those console and PC, they want to kind of be out the way. You also want the news cycle to kind of calm down from Grand Theft Auto 6, even though it's not on PC, to give Squadron 42 its own time in the limelight, which it, looking at that gameplay demo, it's going to sorely deserve. So, yes. And I think that gives them basically from now until the latter part of next year, the end part of next year, to get Star Citizen into a stable place where players who convert from Squadron 42 into Star Citizen stay. And that makes sense. There is so much to put into Star Citizen, it's very unlikely, I think, that that's going to be a soon thing. When the type of armor you wear is restricted by the seats for transit, says Volf, the ships will get more narrow in their focus and use. Yeah, although I'm expecting kind of the seats between these two, like the drop seats that you saw and the Valk, I would imagine they'll have the same capability. The Guardian can fit in the Idris, says Truth. It can, but the MX is reported to be bigger and bulkier. So we don't know. So yeah, Chavez says, I gotta love though, I'm loving the Ore Crude Idris content coming our way. Yeah, so capital ship missions coming, that's going to be a thing as well. Sebastian says, I think we heard some news about a new capital ship that slots above the Javelin. Is that right? Yes and no. Yes and no. So there has been news, but it's unconfirmed. This was on a list of points that was put into Spectrum that apparently was said after the presentation at CitizenCon. CitizenCon. At the Bar Citizen in Beijing. Apparently it was conversation around beers and everything else that was going on. So there is no confirmation. However, what we do know is that there is a battle cruiser and a cruiser that's in the stretch goals. And it's been in the stretch goals since 2012. There is also now rumour of a battleship, which we may have already seen, which is the Argus, the ship that gets its back end sliced off by the King ship's beam weapon. But then again, it might be something else entirely, because they might not be willing to sell us current battleships. We might be getting an old one. Kind of like the Carrack is an old exploration ship. It might be something more in that vein. So, yeah. Just compared to stats, it craps on the Scorp. Yeah, give it a while. Again, wait until it gets hit in the face with a Nerf bat. Don't make any judgments until then. Because I remember everyone talking about the Redeemer trouncing everything, and then it got hit in the face with a Nerf bat, and everyone got really upset about it. So, people need to be, just be a little bit patient about the decisions you're making. But I get it. If I recall, they were talking internally about wanting a battleship. Yeah, absolutely. I think for a while they talked about the Javelin maybe being one of the biggest player-owned ships that they made. Whether that means that ships above that size are going to be things that we can control but not own, like something in-game that we have to fight over. You get temporary ownership of it and then fight over it again. We just don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, because the Javelin, from a player's perspective, is a huge undertaking. The amount of people that are going to need to crew that thing. And to keep it going. You're going to be talking about, and they said the Javelin won't have a hangar, apparently. It won't be able to be put away like that. So you're going to need a crew roster from your org to keep it crewed 24/7. And now we're talking like Star Citizen becoming a full-time job for people in real life. Altzilla says $6,000 battleship when? Soon, TM. It would be cool if the two larger capital ships are only available by crafting in game. I'm sure there will be some, like they talked about a while back in one of the demos, the Sandworm one. We found a Javelin on a planet and it had crashed and everything else, and this is what they're doing in the gameplay demo. And they talked about the idea that this is how you would find big ships, and then it would be your job as an org to patch it back up and bring it back to to worthiness, and then it, you get to keep it. I hope they keep that idea, even if it's for different ships, and there are certain ships you can only find. It doesn't have to be every ship, but something like that would be very, very cool. Great for orgs to fight over. You can imagine you as a solo player, you go find this, the amount of money you can command from an org. If you turn around and go, the location of a battleship, they don't have to buy. They can just go and fix up and defend, and until they've got it ready, and then they can stick a warranty on it. You can imagine how much money, in-game credits that would net you. Kind of crazy, right? I can hear the cry of solo Idris owners already. Well, yes, that's true. That's true. CIG will want to get something more powerful than the Javelin so they could sell it to us. Polaris, Javelin, what next? Oh, well, Idris, Javelin, but yes. We'll see, Sebastian. Very, very interesting gaps. I'd be interested to see how they do it. And I'd be interested more from, not like from point of view of, oh my god, I want one. I think it would just be staring in morbid fascination at how big these things are, how the servers run them, and how well they do or don't do in terms of networking and performance and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know if they mean persistence regarding the Jav. I mean they can't enter atmosphere, so can only dock at space stations, and no space station is capital hangars. Yeah, I think they're talking about it's that there is going to be no hangar big enough to contain it. It won't be landing in anything. I don't think it has landing gear, so you can't land it anywhere. It's going to have to be docked somewhere and stored from there. But there's that. I thought the TAC would have come with the Sandworm. I mean, they said the next patch was going to be a big one. Maybe? With how big the capitals are, Maelstrom will kill everyone's PCs. Very possibly. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, not a bad day for the game. You know, a couple of really interesting kind of options there. I'm just going to go back. We'll have another look through the MX and stuff. There we go. Interesting. I think the one thing that I'm not massively keen on this is the position of the guns sitting there. I kind of like that they retract in, but it just seems a bit like they went to someone's 5-year-old kid and went, "Where do you want the guns on this?" And the kid just went, "There," and they went, "Oh yeah, okay, let's do that." Yes, the TAC has gone up. I think it's gone up $35 or $45. Mad World, it has gone up. Someone reminded. I think it's gone up 45. Sorry if you can hear, the kids are out at the minute. So it's gone up $45. 45 quid. Oh, $45, Mad World. So yeah, there is still a War Bond version available, but I think that's gone up. It's obviously gone up a bit, but it's you know, you don't have to pay the full if you want to get if you're going to do it with new money anyway. Yeah, there you go. War Bond knocks off 35. So yeah, the guns are really well gimbaled. Yeah, I mean it's definitely an interesting position. It's certainly a powerful looking ship. I'd be interested to go and give this a go for a little while and see how I get on with it. Because that's the one gap that I've identified in my fleet is that I don't have a dedicated fighter in my fleet. I've got a Sulen, which isn't, I would argue, a dedicated fighter. So maybe this is the ship that I go for. Don't know. But it looks chonk and it looks gorgeous. Chippy says, I can't decide if I should upgrade my Constellation tournaments to the Starlancer Max. What do you think? Mate, you've got to go with what you think. All I would say is there are going to be people in here who have the Max. Get someone to loan it. Get someone to loan it and see what you think. I think with a lot of these things, it's got to be how it feels playing it and not how you... and not necessarily just a very cold stats thing, right? I've got a Connie Taurus. It's probably my cargo ship, mainly because I think any more cargo space than the Taurus to load it and all that sort of stuff will drive me absolutely effing mental. And I'll lose my shit basically. So I don't want to go down that route. I can't do it. But yeah, so that's it for me. That's sometimes more is not better. It's got to be up to you, my friend. It has to be up to you. You know, I'll never tell people what to do with their money anyway, even if asked, because, you know, me having a webcam and a mic doesn't make me qualified to tell you what to do with your money, right? It's just not, even in a game like this, because what I enjoy, you might not, and vice versa. You get your hands on one. Someone's going to lend you one. You know, fly one around for a while, see what you think about it. There's that. That's what I'm not sure about the loading on the sides of the ship. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, no worries, man. You know, any questions you've got, I'm sure there are some Starlancer Max pilots in chat. Just, you know, shout out. The guys, I think you're already getting some answers in there anyway, so that's great. Truther says, I have the Max and the TAC will be upgrading the Max to the build when it gets released. Max is nice, but too big, and the hab section is bad design. Get the TAC. I mean, if you're going for cargo, don't get the TAC. Right? That's the thing. If we're going Taurus to Max, TAC's a bad choice because cargo, right? But yeah. awesome as the Idris is, too big to own for me, sticking with the Perseus Polaris. And that's the really interesting thing. So we had a look at my CCU chain a little while back. In fact, it was yesterday, wasn't it? A little while back. That's what work does to me. It just makes everything seem so far... takes ages. Everything seems so far away. But, you know, I've got at the moment I have the character Perseus to Polaris CCUs in my chain. And then it's just like a standalone set of two CCUs. But I am... what's the best way of putting it? I don't want the Polaris, is what I'm figuring out slowly, is that there's something about that it's too big. Too big, too much going on. For me personally, organising that feels too much like a job rather than me getting into a game and enjoying myself for a while. I don't know, for solo play, TAC isn't too bad. Good cargo space, carries a vehicle, good guns, and med beds. Yeah, but cargo. Right? It's not solo play. It's not... if you're doing cargo and you need a med bed, you're doing it wrong. So, if that's what it is. I went from the Taurus to the Max, but I'm CCU training up to something bigger. Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, so an interesting day. You know, two good choices of ships. The video really sells me on the TAC. I like that. I think as the drop ships go, it is probably the most well-rounded one that we have at the minute. And it hurts me to say that. As much as I like the look at the TAC, it hurts me to say that because some of the drop ships have been in a bad place for a while. TAC looks a lot, you know, and TAC is not helping that. So hopefully they'll find some way to bring other owners back to the fold. The Guardian MX, yeah, looks like a very solid fighter. Much chonkier. Blast shield looks fun. A nice little gadget there as well. I love those screens turning on that they demoed. That was very cool. Yeah. Lots of... it's a bit of a shame. Does it actually have a photo of the... it's kind of got a photo of the blast shield in place right there and there, but you know, it's not exactly heroing it, is it? Use coupons if you've got them, says Truther. I'm glad I got the 2-ship Max TAC pack last year. Saved me money in hindsight. Nice. Do you think the CIG will cave and let the size 5 swing further to the front? No. I doubt it. I think what we're about to find out is the TAC is going to be a bit of a Mary Sue. She can do everything. You know, to make her really good in combat as well by having stuff swing around further to the front doesn't make sense. You know, the whole point is she comes down, opens the sides, provides covering fire for the troops as they disembark and get into cover. You've got the back, the Titans jumping out, which, you know, it might not have as much protection facing aft, but that's what the big armoured fronts are. They're not going to get shot from the sides because the TAC's going to be laying down so much hate that people are going to be taking cover. You know, I think it does very well in that regard. I think just, you know, yeah, any more like that, it just, the TAC becomes ridiculous. You know, it's... sometimes I know people want to take a ship and make it do everything, but that's not the direction CIG are going, and I think it would be a mistake. Size 5s aren't meant for shooting, they're for clearing an LZ. That, absolutely. CCU game will save you a lot more than the packs. Yeah, I mean, look, if you guys want to talk CCUs and stuff like that, I don't mean to send you away from here. You're obviously more than welcome all of the time. But if you do want CCU advice, Info Runners is where I would point you. Go and talk to some of their CCU helpers. They'll be able to take you through stuff. I'm not going to volunteer anyone from the channel because they have a hard enough time teaching me CCUs. So I don't want to just volunteer them up to everyone. But if people are around helping with CCUs, all I will say, the only financial advice I will ever give you, if in doubt, do not spend money. Don't do it. The bottom line that I'm seeing, which is really good, is if you couldn't buy it 3 times, it's too expensive. If you couldn't afford 3 of it, it's too expensive. Right? If that would cripple you financially, don't do it. And I know it's a very general rule, but it's probably worth it, right? So yeah, just be really careful is all I'd say. And, make sure you trust it. Verify information, because it's going to be one person from the community giving you advice. Make sure you talk to other people. Be straight in your own mind before you play money or, part with money. And for the love of God, do not give people details. Don't do it. But you know that. Why am I telling you this? You guys know it already. Play the long game and collect CCUs over multiple years. Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of speculative CCUs. I've got CCUs to the whole B, because I think looking at how much cargo they've got, they're going to go up massively when the whole B comes out. I've got a couple to the Endeavour. I've got one to the Crucible, because I think looking at their role, what they're doing, they're going to be very much like the Banu Merchantman. They're going to skyrocket in price when details finally coming out about them. And the Endeavour is the very long game, because they've said they don't think we're going to get it before 1.0. So a couple of speculatives, but we'll see. Yeah. So there's that. Hull B is wild, says Matthew. 100%. That's going to go up massively. It's a good rule. If you like playing the game, then enjoy the game and get it without spending money. Very, very possibly. Yeah, absolutely that. Yeah. No, I don't think T-Jack. I don't think he's saying that that the size 5s. That's what any size 5 in the game is for. I think they're saying on this ship, the whole point of those turrets, the way they were designed, was to provide landing zone support rather than become a fighter enabled thing. So yeah. I have a Polaris CCU and we'll be melting that, says Socially. I don't see a ship coming out for $999. That's the other thing, is of course at the moment you cannot CCU to anything over 1,000. So there's no point at the moment. We'll see. With door hacking lining up for soon, I wonder if the Legionnaire is close by. I think the Legionnaire is all but done. And the reason I said that is it is back in 2 Citizen Cons ago, the one they had in the US, they had it lined up for release by the end of last year. And then I think hacking was still being talked about at that point. Then hacking got punted, so the Legionnaire got punted. With all the talking about other methods of opening doors, like in the video we saw last night, the Legionnaire may very well be imminent. Or, IAE, something like that. There's enough idiots who spent a lot of money in this game to use their stuff. Wow, Matthew with the match, trying to set fire to everything again. If you have a good Polaris CC, you should sell it to someone. Yes, I've got one from the Perseus to Polaris. When that came out for whatever it was, the value of it is like $15. And that's now, what, a $225 jump. So yeah. I am one of those idiots. Yeah, lots of people going, yeah, that's me. Crucible, always at risk of a price increase. Most likely get bigger and get a reconcept pass. Good CCU to always keep and sit on. Yeah, absolutely that. Obviously you need to be able to gift it if you want to make money off it. And I'm not suggesting that by any stretch of the imagination. But then again, I've benefited from a lot of people who have had good CCUs in the past who have either been generous enough to gift them or, sell them at cost. So that's wonderful. I'm still hoping that a original concept Banu Merchantman will pan out for me, but watch this space. Hull limited sales are stupid. Anyone should be able to buy the standard ship. If you want a unique ship, that's what crafting is for. Yeah, I think basically, I think what they've said is that from the outset, they don't want players to, have all of the most advanced ships and all that sort of stuff, which is why they're going hull limited, which I don't think that holds up to much scrutiny, if I'm being honest. Pure Voice, I gotta say, what's the difference between players having it and NPCs having it in terms of the verse is going to look very much alive anyway. It's going to look more so if you've got players flying that stuff around. And so much of this, as people are already pointing out, multi-ship, multi-crew gameplay, engineering, stuff like that, these days of solo crewing stuff in combat, people will still do it, they'll still give it a go, but it won't be very effective. It'll be very clear when that happens. Times like, I've seen people solo crew multi-crew vehicles in other games, right? Hell let loose, 3 positions in a tank: driver, gunner, and tank commander. When you come up against one that's only got one of the crew, it's like taking candy from a baby, really. So yeah, and it's going to be the same in this. Size 5 broadside firing AC-130 Spectre gunship, says Del Kenobi. Yeah, that's exactly what it's seen. Del, the video's in there. For those that haven't seen it yet, there is also in the TAC video, there is now cast iron proof. Unfortunately, the Wicklow Atlas is actually coming. Well, I say cast iron, about as cast iron as we can get. It's in there. It's being used in the game. It's not just a Wicklow curiosity. It's being used in the Starlancer TAC video, which I get is as close as we can get to that. When you couple that with what Jared said at the Con 42 the other day, it looks very much like that's the case. Yeah. I use my Polaris Solo as a mobile mining base. Altzilla, that sentence hurts my stomach. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, lots of stuff to consider and have a look at. But there's that. Hoping that tomorrow, obviously the War Bond at the moment, the Freelancer MISC, I believe. Hang on, bear with me. Was it the MISC? The Freelancer MISC? Yeah, so the Freelancer MISC at the minute, $10 off that, so instead of 175, it's 165. Fine, nice small step up. We'll see. Tomorrow, well, I probably won't stream just for the sake of one War Bond thing. It means I get a day off because it's been Saturday, yesterday, and today. I'm working, and start getting angry with me if I keep streaming every day and going in early and then coming home early. They're gonna be like, hey, we need you at the end of the day too. So yeah. Have you seen the TAC trailer? It makes me not want to upgrade. What do you mean, Mabwild? In terms of you don't want to upgrade to it, or you don't want to upgrade from it? Because yeah, that trailer's I quite like that. It's very dramatic. It's got all the good stuff on it. I'm a fan. Doesn't mean I'm going to get one. I don't think. But then again, maybe I go to it. I've been looking at the Prowler for a long old time. Go from TAC to Asgard. Interesting. Yeah, I can see why you might be thinking that. I might, a little later on tonight, go back to the expo hall, have another run around the TAC, and see whether or not I can maybe maneuver one of my CCU chains into the TAC. Are you available, mate? But yeah, they locked a few of the green paints behind the Guardian 3-pack. Damn, I already have the Guardian in QI. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, the worst you can do there, Truther, is give them a message, is see if they'll help you out. But we'll see. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure the TAC or the Asgard are going to be particularly effective for solo stuff. They're massively over-engineered, right? But yeah. Yeah, Sheva says, TAC is nice but an earning game for me. That's the Prowler for me, I think. I think I'm going to enjoy the rep grind to get through whatever wall I need to get through to be able to get the Prowler. But 440 for that when there are so many other ships for less of a price just makes me think I can't justify it in my own head. Whereas something like the TAC, yeah, I get that. And I don't think I own any MISC ships at the moment. I got a Mirai. Don't think I've got MISC. So that'll be interesting. I'll be the MISC ship in my fleet. But that'll be fun. The Asgard is going to be my daily driver. Well-armed medium hauler that can carry a tank. Yeah, I raise you in this argument, my tank. So yeah. That's it. Yeah. We got to get you some ships, Drinker. I got ships. I get no. Del, stop it. No more ships. I got ships. I'm good on ships. I just don't have any MISC ones because, frankly, I had the Freelancer, went up to the C1, Partly because that was part of a chain. I'm actually now enjoying the C1 so much, I'm considering getting one. Because the one I have at the moment is part of a CCU chain, up to the Apollo Medevac. I've also got a separate chain that takes me to the Derp. Oh my god, help me. Vulcan. To the Vulcan. So I've got that. But again, all of these ships are missing MISC. You know, I've got no mining ship, which obviously would be Solo, would be the Prospector. But I did enjoy the Freelancer for a while, but no, I'm good. I enjoy the Spirit more. So, yeah, we'll see. But some interesting choices. Obviously, not everything from MISC is going to be in there. In fact, there's very little that's going to be in there. Gemini, same price as before. TAC, yeah, you know, looks like I might have some fun later on trying to figure out CCU chains. But yes, those are going to be the key things. Walker appears to be in the Starlancer TAC video. MX looking good. Significant trade-off, though, with not having the bed. You're sacrificing the range and the ability to go out for extended ops. That's kind of an interesting one. And poor old Consolidated Outland sitting there with their single Mustang Delta. I'm sure you'll get some love soon. TM. Use those 20% coupons from subscriptions if you have them. Easy to forget about. Yeah, I've got a couple of 10% ones as well kicking around. So that's interesting. But yeah, not a bad day actually. That's quite exciting from the point of view of the TAC and the MX. Two ships there that I wouldn't mind giving a little bit of a go to. So we'll see. I'm sure we've got some in the org. I'll give it a play in a little while. Bit of a disagreement about the Vulcan. I'm going to let you guys, you know, have that out amongst yourselves. I don't know if I'm going to get involved in that. But it's been a pleasure. I'm really glad that we got on for a little while. Still managed an hour and 15 minutes just to have a look at some war bonds. You know, obviously stay tuned. This time, well, an hour ago, this time tomorrow, there will be another daily war bond out. And then at the end, I understand we're getting a fresh batch of war bonds. So that too will be worth looking at. But yeah, no worries at all, Starstuff. You are very welcome. Thank you, guys. Next stream will be 2 days' time, so it'll be Wednesday, 4:45. So same time that this started, probably a few minutes earlier because I won't be rushing home from work quite so hard as I was now. Looking forward to see you all there. Oh no, I hit the wrong bit of music. Boo! Let's try this one instead, shall we? One of these days, guys, I'm going to get my outro right, but it is not this day. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.